Oops.
Oh, that's one way to end the show.
What? Alright guys, welcome to today's video. So this is the first podcast that I'm gonna start as a new series, and today I have Moose over here, and Moose is a riding buddy of mine many years ago. I don't really do a lot of road riding nowadays.
Yeah, we go way back.
Yeah, over to you, Moose. Can you introduce yourself a bit, like what do you do and how do you started cycling?
Yeah, so my name is Moose.
You can just look at me.
Most people call me Moose. I started back in 2013, but I didn't start in Malaysia. I actually started in the UK when I was studying. So I bought a bike because I needed to go to class. So I started with a Trek 1.1.
Okay.
And then I found out I quite liked it, and then after 8 years, here I am lah.
Trek 1.1, is it a hybrid bike or what?
No, it was a road bike. It was a drop bar road bike.
So what group set was that?
It was an entry level one. It was about 500 pounds, which is about 3,000 ringgit. So that was
Sora,
yeah.
right?
8-speed Sora.
All right. Okay, and then what about after that? Like, did you ride the bike for very long, or did you?
Yeah. I rode it. I brought it back to Malaysia. I rode maybe 2 years with it. Mm-hmm. And then I upgraded the group set first from a Sora to an Ultegra 11-speed.
Ooh, straight to Ultegra.
that was back when the group sets were very cheap. They
6800,
were, yeah.
6800.
Yeah.
How much was that?
That was about 2,800 ringgit.
Oh, cheap,
Yeah.
Compared to nowadays, the price.
Compared to 3,000 plus nowadays, 3,005, I think.
Well, I think I have to factor in it was rim brake, and now it's a hydraulic brake also lah.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. Yeah.
Things was a bit more simple back then.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and after that, did you after 2 years, so you sold off the bike?
Yes, I upgraded.
Upgrade to?
I upgraded to a Cannondale Cat 10.
Oh, okay. You owned a Cat 10 before?
Yes.
Okay.
That was my first proper alloy bike, I would say.
Okay, I think I should ask this question first. How many bikes have you owned before? Does it count? Can you count?
I guess.
Include that Trek, ah?
Okay, so the Trek, then it was a Cannondale Cat 10. After that was a Trek in Honda. And then I crashed it in a race, and then I broke the top tube.
Whoa!
So this is my fourth bike, which has been since 2018.
Okay,
so yeah, so 4 bikes.
I thought you have Polygon.
That was my wife's bike that she used for a while. That was her entry level bike.
Okay. So if you would to categorize yourself, right, after so many years of riding, what type of rider you are?
I would say I'm more on the competitive side. My Saturdays are pretty much ride till you drop kind of thing. I used to commute a lot back when I didn't have a car for about 2 years. One way 17 kilometers, but I don't do that nowadays.
Wow, that's a lot. If 17 kilometers, 2 way is 35.
Yeah.
5 days,
That was fun though.
Almost 150 done.
Yeah.
Then weekend can be recovery already.
Yep.
Wow. So
weekend cyclist definitely.
Nowadays. Okay. So yeah, I guess there's 2 part of you. One is back then when you commute. Right?
Yeah.
That 2 years is quite a duration lah. And then the part of you is the competitive side lah. Weekend,
Yeah.
Very aggressive bike. So let's talk about that commuting part.
Okay.
Like.
Oh, that one I was actually. I mean, I didn't take into account the turn folding bike.
Oh,
that I used as well.
okay. So you had a turn. Yeah. What folding bike is that?
The Turn Link.
Link what? Which model do you remember?
It was the most basic entry level one.
C8, C7, C8, 8-speed, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. C8 probably.
Yeah.
It had a rack at the front where you can put
So
your bag.
when you say 17 km, where did you start and where did you end your ride? Like
I started from Jalan Gasing in PJ, and then I would take section 16 and sprint highway up to Publica. That was my office back then.
Wait, Jalan Gasing,
Yep.
16,
Yep.
Sprint Highway. Isn't it that there's a lot of intersection and all those?
If you take the leftmost lane and you use KLGCC and you use Hatamas,
Oh,
it's not so bad. It's not so bad.
okay. Yeah. Now I got it. So which mean you go through that 16 hills,
Yeah.
and then turn right,
turn right,
and
you
then
go up on the
and then
highway.
keep at the left, and then you turn left all the way KLGCC.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. Oh yeah. That's doable. That's quite doable.
Yeah, I find that the highways are safer than the cramped roads. The dual two roads one is a bit more dangerous than the highway.
Because of
Space.
Okay.
When people see you, they tend to what do you call that? Merge into you. So, but when there's a highway, people give you space. So I don't
especially when it's like rush hour. The car.
Yeah,
it's
rush hour is
it's
much
not that
better
bad.
for me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Rush hour is
because I
much
commute for quite a while also, and I realized that rush hour is the easiest. You
Yeah.
only need to pay attention to the motorbike. Car, they are slower than you.
Yeah.
Right? So did you happen to have facilities
No.
at your office?
No.
So how do you do all those 17 km? Come on lah, 5 km you sweat already lah in Malaysia.
I had to bring a spare change of clothes,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to bring a towel to wipe myself down.
So you didn't shower.
No, I didn't shower, but I had to take water. I mean, there's no shower facility. That's the
Okay,
biggest problem that I had.
Uh-huh.
That's why I prefer to leave at 6:30 before the sun comes up.
Okay, so there's no sun, nothing, blah blah
It's
blah.
cooler, it's a bit cooler.
When you are there, probably around like 7-ish.
It takes me about 40 minutes to get there.
7-ish.
Yeah,
right?
7-ish, and then I cool down, and then I have breakfast, and then only I start at 8:30.
What time is your office hour? 8, is it?
8:30.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
that was quite fun. And then when you come back, whether it rains or it doesn't matter to you because
You're going back home anyway. If it rains, just shower. But what if? Have you experienced like you're on the way riding halfway, then it's rain?
Rare. It's actually very rare, but because I brought a spare change of clothes, so it's okay though.
But a lot of stuff like socks, shoes.
Because when I go, I
Trouser.
bring a shorts and a t-shirt.
Okay.
So when I'm in the office, it's a shirt and pants and shoes, which
Wow.
is in the bag.
2 years. Okay, I actually didn't know that. That's quite interesting. So if you were to name something that is essential to make Malaysia a bit more bicycle commuting friendly, what will be that thing?
I think if offices were to provide showering facilities, that would be probably an easiest way to get your employees. And I think you also had this problem to park our bikes as well.
Exactly. Yes.
I had to literally fight with the parking management to put it. It wasn't even in the way, but they just dislike bicycles in general.
Yeah.
Because I think to them it's an eyesore. So
Well, I guess for the past, at least before COVID lah, most of the people look at cyclists as if you cycle to work, you're like Bangla.
there's still a sentiment that
if you cycle to work, you are like foreign worker or you are the less fortunate group lah.
that's number one, or number two, you are a bit crazy, a bit extreme.
Yeah.
So there's no
yeah,
in between that. Nobody does it for fun. Kind of thing.
And the fact that everyone told me that it's so hot, you crazy, you ride to work. I'm like, I don't ride at 3 p.m. I don't ride at 1 o'clock. I don't ride out and get my lunch. It's not actually that hot.
I'm sure it will be much better with an e-bike, much easier as well.
Oh, for sure. But I guess long way to go lah. A lot of regulation have to be done lah.
And also very expensive. That's the biggest barrier.
Got cheap one lah. You go for Specialized, of course, it's expensive lah. Got cheap one. The other day, Bike Expo, you saw the e-bike booth.
The Zeus one, is it?
So I talked to them. There's bike that can go up to 50, 60. If you bypass that
chip
limit.
Okay.
That's mad lah. That's like capture speed already.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's no compulsory on helmets, things blah blah blah, things like that. Long way to go lah. But I guess, I have to agree with you lah. Like parking facilities, shower facilities.
That's the easiest way that doesn't cost much money.
Yeah. I don't even need the bike lane.
No.
Right.
It's bike lanes are. That's a nice to have, but that's like
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not the foundation. I think the foundation is supposed to be you make people able to be there and clean up so that
Yeah.
they can start
Yeah.
their day
Yeah.
instead of you give a bike lane but
It's not. It's poorly done.
You don't solve the problem because when they are there, they are sweaty, a lot of things. I have exactly the same problem with you. I will even name the KL building. I really hate them.
Yeah.
It was a KL Eco City Mall. Is it mall or building? KL Eco City Mall lah.
Yeah.
So they claim KL Eco City. I cycle to work that time, and then the building management refused to let me in.
Yeah.
And then
even to get to go in the facility.
Exactly.
Big hassle.
And then I got requests like, oh, you just park your bike at the car park lah.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, what if I lost the car? And I
They don't take
remember
anything.
that line which the building that security manager said, oh, those car park in the car park, if they lost the car, is the problem also what? So
Yeah.
that mindset
they
is
don't understand. Yeah.
the mindset is still a long way to go.
Yeah.
And I actually shower in a handicapped toilet.
Oh.
I use
right.
bidet.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I was quite lucky because at that time that building was quite empty. We are one of the first few tenants to be in. So the handicapped toilet is basically nobody use it's like basically you don't even feel guilty to occupy that place, and then nobody use, so I just shower there.
At 6:30, 7 a.m. nobody's there lah.
Yeah. My office hour is a bit late, so my office hour is at 10. So I always ride out at 9.
It's a bit hot.
Yeah,
a bit hot.
because I can shower ma. So it's still okay.
Yeah.
Because when I drive, it takes me 1 hour ish. When I ride, 45 minutes. So no brainer. If I ride my road bike, it's only 30 minutes, which is even faster, even better. And I enjoy a lot. Like, if you work out before you go to work,
Yeah, it makes keeps
everything already.
settled. Really.
Yeah. You don't feel like, oh, wow, today is a Monday. I have to work. All those.
It feels like your day started earlier and you're a bit more happier in the morning.
Yes. That makes me a bit more efficient now.
Yeah.
But
I find that the rides, the going and the comeback is the highlight of my day.
right,
Like yes, I'm gonna go on my bike.
Right.
Yeah. Instead of or drive a car. I'm like, oh shit, traffic jam.
And then I get a lot of people talk to me. Like people ask questions.
Oh yeah.
People ask you, oh wow. So
when you come with the helmet. and
with
everything.
that I actually make friends lah. Some people talk to me and then we know each other. Well, those same buildings. Sometimes we go for lunch. Things like that. So yeah, I guess it's a topic starter also.
Yeah.
It have to be more common lah. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people look at it like very hard things, but it is definitely possible lah.
It's baby steps lah. I think
But how did you started, like when you come back Malaysia, and then how did you decided, oh, I'm gonna get a bike and I'm gonna ride to work? How did you decided to do that?
I think despite I'm a bit of an extreme person that I dislike traffic jams. So at that time I had a car, but even for me to get to work, even if it takes me 40 minutes to get to work and 20 minutes to drive to use public transport, I would take public transport. So I dislike jams. So one of those days I got stuck in a really bad traffic jam and I thought, I'm not going to go through this anymore. So I just chose the bike instead. And I already had a bike. I already had since I commuted back in the UK, I had all the gear to commute. And it so happens that I had a folding bike. So I had all the facilities, I just had to do it. It was, I guess it was there lah. Some people had to buy stuff, I didn't. So it was a matter of preference at that time, not even cost.
Did you do any preparation then, like scouting the route? I'm pretty sure back then, right, GPS-based cycling computer was not that common lah.
Because I used to drive to work, I knew the way. So the only problem was I didn't know where to park. So I had to get several tries to get a right parking, and again we get into the problem with management. But in the end, we settled on parking in the car park. And
you park your bike in the car park?
but it was next to the management office. They agreed to let it next to the management office, so I
Okay lah, can lah.
So long as, and there was a pole that could lock my bike. So
Can lah. My solution, back then when I work at Solaris Monkiara, I go to the management office and ask if I can park my bike in your office, since like not really a lot of people in your office. At first it seems everything go well until higher management level people come in. No, I haven't started park there, so I submit all the document, get my boss to sign, blah blah blah, things like that. And then actually I can see the office people are willing to let me to do that. That was post COVID lah. So I guess it's a bit loose, a bit relaxed, and everybody get used to it a little bit. The executive, the one at the counter, they are like, oh wow, yeah, let me ask. I can see.
It was a folding bike and you wanted to bring it under your desk. Is that correct?
If it is folding bikes, then I can just bring up.
Yeah. Then it shouldn't be a problem.
But I don't want to ride a folding bike to work that time. I want to ride my road bike because from my place to Solaris Monkiara, there's a lot of hills. So I'm like,
painful.
I think I'm gonna do road bike. Let me try. So I go to office, blah blah blah, blah, until a higher management people look at the form and then they say, no, cannot.
Yeah.
Bicycles. Oh, we have a bicycles back there. He pointed to me. Oh, back there, where there's a few steel bar. Oh, you can just park there. I'm like,
It's more of making sure that somebody doesn't tamper with your bike so that you can actually go back home. That's the worry. It's not really if somebody's stealing it. I mean, stealing it fine.
Yeah.
Okay, number one, we don't have insurance, but number two, it's more of somebody just messing with it. I think.
I think even if I don't think there is insurance policy in Malaysia that cover bike commuting.
Yeah,
I think they cover bike crash.
Even if there is, it's so small. I mean, I don't know of any. I don't know anything that covers.
Yeah, maybe can try to find out. What about if I ride to work and then I buy a policy? I think they cover theft. But
personal stuff. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you should have that.
But that might be categorized under high risk.
Or extremely
You know,
high
right?
risk.
Right? When you're high risk, insurance will naturally charge you higher, blah, 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 things like that.
Yeah.
All right. Now another side of you where you are a bit more competitive and all those. I happen to know that you used to run. Do you still run BJCC?
I have stepped down from the vice president position of the club. Yeah. So, but the first 6 months we were running the club. Yeah.
So it sounds like a very organized organization. With
yes, it's
vice
been
president.
a long. There's a four, I guess, two main roles, which is the president and the captain. So the president sets the direction of the club, and the captains are in charge of the weekly rides. So those are the prominent roles. Yeah.
So you was the vice president.
Yeah. I helped the president. Yeah.
Okay. So when you say set the direction of the group, what does that mean? Like, do you guys target to win certain race or?
At that time, we were discussing of potentially having a racing team and how do we go about creating this racing team. So things like that, and also kind of sponsorships and maybe events or what kind of races we want to join and what is things like organizing the jersey as well. I mean that is part of the president's job as well. Trying to get some funds so that we can do some events kind of thing, like fundraising, I guess.
That looks like a long-term kind of thing. Like,
It's the tenure is always 1 year.
But can it be done within 1 year?
I mean, we set goals for the year lah. And then see what we can achieve in 1 year. Because after that, the next president comes in, and then they have their own team, and then they continue to do that. Whatever they feel that is appropriate for the club.
They have their own team. What does that mean?
I mean, when the president and the captain is only selected for the year, and then when the January comes in, then the president and the captain is then selected again.
Okay.
It's very rarely that they continue for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So So, what do you actually do, like as a vice president? Like, what is your task?
Actually, basically to support the presidency, like some of the tasks I had to do was to help out with the jerseys and just make sure that all the quantities was correct and everything. And then when it came to the distribution of the jersey, just be there and help out and make sure everybody gets their own the right sizing and stuff. For this year, we didn't really do much, I guess. Yeah.
You're still part of the team, right? You're still joining them for trainings.
I haven't joined them for a while, no. Yeah.
Okay. But what about the weekly training and all those? Like,
okay, the weekly rides are set by the captain.
Okay.
The captain decides where we go, and then we will try to help him out during the rides. So he is in charge of where we're going, how far we're going, where we're stopping and stuff. So that is solely the captain's decision.
So basically, it's like two part lah. One is like more like
Administrative,
yeah. Big goals, blah blah blah. When really come to execution, blah blah blah, that will down to the captain. They will decide the route or those.
Yeah. The rides are the captain is just in charge of the rides. I mean, that was what my understanding was lah.
Because back then when I started road riding, right, road biking, right, I found out about BJCC and I almost going to join with my you remember the old steel bike and all those, and then after that I realized, oh, actually this is not a club, not a social ride. It's mostly about training, right?
So BGCC is known to be one of the fastest guys around. So I mean, even back then, even up to today, I still get dropped from the rides, even after 2016, 6 years of joining them. So it's a ride where you go to really test your limits. It's for those people. I mean, you can join at any fitness, but you have to understand that the ride is meant for you to get dropped, so that you really see how far you can go. So BJCC is known for that, and that is something that I would say 60-70% people might not like what it is. But if you have a competitive side to yourself, then that is the place to go.
Do you guys always got like new people join 1 or 2 times, then they don't come anymore?
Yes.
That happens
yes.
quite a lot, right?
Yes, yeah. I've actually seen one that got dropped on the first hill. But surprisingly, the people that tend to stay with BJCC are the people that get dropped and then they show up 4 weeks, 6 weeks, that they just show up. It doesn't matter where they end up. They do try to finish the ride, but if they don't, like, at least they show up. So those people tend to be long members of BGCC because of their persistence.
How do you guys manage all those routes then? Like, if I were to join today and I know I'm gonna get dropped, like, but now I guess much more easier, everything cheaper, like the GPS navigation are more cheaper. Like, if we talk about 5 years ago, I don't think a lot of people using that navigation function even from Garmin. So how do you guys make sure, hey, we are riding on GCE, there might be an intersection that confuse people? How do you guhad manage that, or that is like upfront, oh no, you have to find your own way?
I guess there's like 2 ways to look at it. I never knew the way until now. I don't really know the way. So it's either I don't get dropped and follow, or you follow and then you decide on a U-turn point. Back then, GCE, there's a lot of turning points, 23 kilometers. Lata, you could turn at halfway, 66. So back then, you had to at least know your way back. That was what I think everybody should know, because we're not going to hold your hand.
There's no babysitting. There's no
babysitting. No. But when it comes to the routes, I think we used to pick the popular routes that most people would know. Ijok, Assam Jawa. I mean, most cyclists would have been there at least once. And if they're not, then it was better that they tell us, and then we try to keep them at the front so that it's much easier.
You know what? Those route, I've never been there.
No problem. It's okay. It's
Well, I
live
was
each
I was staying at another site. You see, I was staying at
Yeah.
Ampang.
Yeah.
And those places like if I were to ride there, I have to drive like don't know.
Driving is a big issue. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess it became very popular ever since few years back, where the population over there are growing. People start staying at Bukit Jelutong.
Yeah.
You know, that side, that north, near to, I think it's near to Sungai Buloh. So near to Sungai Buloh, right? Not too far. The north side of the development start growing. Plan A is there. Blah blah blah. All the shops.
The reason Bukit Jelutong is so popular is because of GCE. It's like an unsaid cycling lane, even though it's a motorcycle lane for 45 kilometers. I mean, it's the safest place you can bring any cyclist, pretty much.
Oh, is it?
I mean, in my opinion, because there's no cars. You don't deal with cars the entire 45 kilometers.
But is it like segregate lane? Or
It's a motorcycle lane.
Motorcycle lane.
There are no cars, only motorcycles, and most of the motorcycles already know that there are going to be cyclists on the weekend. So GCE, because of that infrastructure, people started migrating there. So at the very least, you have a 45 kilometer or 23 kilometer loop that you can do. So even I think the shortest loop is probably 7 kilometers or something like that.
7 kilometers.
I mean, you can turn. There are various junctions you can turn.
Okay.
So I mean, most people should be able to do 7 kilometers or 20.
So how did you realize about your competitive side? I'm pretty sure you're not waking up someday with your bicycle like, oh, I gonna be competitive.
I think this is a bit personal, I guess, but I've never focused on something so much before. I've always been average at a lot of things. So cycling was the first thing that I said, you know what, I'm going to go all out. So that's when I decided to drop all my other sports and just focus on cycling. So back then I was doing maybe 3 or 4 other sports, and then I said, you know, I already spent so much money on this, might as well just stick to want to be better than average, like at the very least. So that's when I decided. That was maybe in 2016 when I decided to join BJCC on a weekly basis, and so since 2016 every Saturday morning is booked for rides. Like that's like sacred time, like nobody touches that time for me. So since then I decided to focus lah, like be good at one thing just once, you know, instead of being average at everything. So yeah.
Oh, that's quite a bit of determination, right?
I think yeah. I think focus lah and consistency.
So I know that MCO are pretty tough for those competitive cyclists lah. Right,
Okay.
right. So how did you keep pace? How did you keep yourself fit during that how many months?
so-
13, 14 months of no
I
group
think
riding.
Nowadays there's a trend for like indoor cycling. Even amongst the BJCC guys, I think probably 9 out of 10 of us, or probably 7 out of 10 of us are on the indoor trainer. So my time on the bike, when I was commuting, maybe I spent like 12 hours on the bike. Nowadays I spend like 10 on the trainer and maybe 3 hours outside. So it's heavily skewed towards indoor training. And I had a trainer back in 2019. So when MCO hit, I just moved all my rides indoors anyway. So it's just I do my indoor training at least twice a week.
So you got a trainer before the price hike lah.
Yeah. Actually, the price has gone back down. Actually, you can
For
get,
now for sure lah.
yeah,
For now
yeah.
for sure.
You're crazy. They were selling it for really expensive at one
I
time.
know, right? I
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
My traditional indoor trainer, like you know those wheel on.
Yeah.
I got it pre-COVID too. I got it like 200 something, and then after that I saw people sell like 500. So
You sold your bike during the COVID, right? It was a good price.
Yeah, it was a very good price.
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
think I only spent like $1,000 for 3 years.
You made your money back, lah, basically.
yeah. If you divided 3 years, like 1,000 days and
It's 300
a
ringgit.
thousand ringgit,
Yeah.
it's like 1 ringgit a day.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Who is your president back then when you're vice president of BGCC?
Imal is still the president of GCC.
Until now? He still
Yeah. He still is.
Hey, I thought it's together one like.
Oh, but we decided to step down.
Okay. Before the due date lah.
Before the due date, yeah.
Okay,
He's still running the club.
Okay. Is there any pro cyclists within BJCC?
No. Most of us don't have a UCI license or anything. But occasionally, some really strong guys do join us. We met Muaz yesterday. I don't know if you know Sean, Kona, Juan. I mean, those are the regular people that are really strong. That sometimes they see our rides and they join. So when they come, then you die, pretty much. But no, we don't have any pro cyclists on our team. The elite level riders are the level between somebody starting new and somebody that's started club for years. I think that's the gap between pro cyclists. We're just not fast enough for them lah.
So when you say BJCC are recognized that one of the faster group is like within the amateur like
within amateurs, definitely.
Not stepping into like semi-pro or professional level lah.
No, I think you got to be a full-time athlete for that lah, and you got to at least be paid for that. I think for the number of too.
Well, I'm pretty sure lah. Like if you with works it's really hard to do all the training, and then some more nowadays training are so systematic, so modular, right? You really need someone to do.
Yeah, but that being said, I find that BJCC now the pace of them has been much faster than the last couple of years.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think partly because everyone new is on the trainer, and also because bikes are much faster now. There's a lot of focus on equipment, so the rides are pretty fast. Even for amateurs, I find them much faster than last time lah.
What's the average speed?
On the quick days, between 35 to 38. I think if the really strong guys come in, then they might breach 39. But it depends on how far the rides are.
So just to give the audience some ideas, that means what is the FTP that they are expecting if they are?
I would recommend. I think for you to be able to catch up, you would have to have at least 3.5 watts per kilos and above. So I'm at 3.8. I think the strong guys are about 4.5 or 4.3. If you're 3.5 and above, you should be able to follow. I think that's a good starting.
I actually don't know what's my FTP. but on slightly those days that I tekan a bit more, like with Rascal, they are not even that fast. It's a social ride, cruising at 33, 35. On Strava estimate power, it's like 170, 180.
Yeah.
But on really relaxed ride, actually, you know, last time those ride when I do, like we go Jugra and all those, I only get like 110, 120.
Yeah. No, I was telling one of the BGCC guys, it's like everybody can go 35, 38. But whoever's at the front the whole time is, not everybody can do it while being at the front. So, yeah.
Do they need to learn the ethic, like taking turns, signaling and all those?
I think with BJCC, what I find is common is that the strong guys tend to take most of the turns. Okay. But if you're somebody that wants to push your limits, number one is try to keep up first. See if you can stay with the group. Eventually, what you want to do is you want to start spending more time at the front so that you get stronger.
But there's no rules lah. Like if you're joining this peloton, then you have to share the works, blah blah blah. There's no concrete rules like.
There's no concrete rule, but don't try to attack after you've been at the back the whole time. That's just a douchebag move lah. Like like keeping your energy the whole time, and then the last 10 kilometers you go by yourself. I'm like, you could have helped out, So yeah, for sure you will get some shit at the mama lah after that. But it's up to you how much work you want to do. If you want to get better, then you need to spend more time at the front lah. At least even if it's 30 seconds, then It's better than nothing lah.
What about hand signaling and all those? I kind of lucky because I learned along the way. Like there's people that teach me how to do, but I realized that there's not a lot of people teaching the new guys.
No,
especially COVID cyclists. You know, when they come in, they don't really know how to handle the traffics.
Yeah,
don't really how to
group etiquette.
Right in the group. Do you guys have a
session
or I don't know, is there anyone
actually,
compile something?
We don't actually teach, I think, which is probably something we should do. But the main people that usually ride will always give hand signals when there's a bump or something. I think the most basic rule that everyone should follow is you should never overlap the wheels.
The wheel, yeah.
And then you should not ride like you drive, which is like if there's a gap, you go in. You stay behind the person at all times. I think that's the two most basic rules that I think if you follow that covers 90% of the problem.
Yeah, I realized a lot of peloton, especially COVID cyclists, is like
they're very aggressive.
Two of them are in front, and then this guy want to talk to two of them. He just and then they become like a triangle. I'm like, what are you doing? So I think whenever you want to move left or right, you should always signal. At least be predictable. Then it should. At least people know what you're doing. I guess that's the key word. Predictable. It's same apply to even commuting days, right? Make the drivers know you where you want to go. Blah, blah, blah.
My favorite hand signal. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, very good. And then they smile. I'm like, okay lah. Sorry to take 3 seconds of your time, right, for today.
We go back to your commuting days a bit. Did you experience any not so happy things during commuting days?
I have to admit I have a bit of a road rage issue lah. I mean, it's quite apparent sometimes, but I think you have to let your ego out the door because you're the most vulnerable user on the road. I think I have an issue with taxis most of the time. For some reason, they like to bully us. Not all of them, but it's a bit more than usual than I would like. So I would just say be a bit more careful when taxis are near you, and be aware that be prepared to stop straight away lah, because they are less friendly towards you.
They're less care. They're like, we are king of the road. we drive more than you eat. Or we drive more than you walk.
The favorite one, you guys don't pay road tax.
Wow, that is like, no. We probably drive. We pay more than the taxi road tax, right? The commercial car.
We still drive cars lah. Most of the time. We just do that on a weekly basis.
That's the most classic one. You don't pay road tax. Wow.
You get that lot.
Let's talk about your bike over here now.
Okay.
So, can you briefly explain this bike? Like,
I can't briefly explain it. It might be a very long conversation.
I'll throw. Okay. My bad for that question. I will throw a question to you. Alright. So, tell me about this bike, the frame, and the setup.
Okay. Sure. So this is a 2018 Specialized LA Sprint disc. This was the bike that I bought after I broke my Trek Monda in the crit. The reason I bought this one is because I wanted something cheap and unbreakable. And so far it's had 3 crashes. And the thing that I like the most about this bike is that from the time that I crashed and the time that I can get back on the bike is less than a day. So I've crashed 3 times, and within the next day I'm already on the trainer. So that's what I like about the bike. So in terms of specs, it's a size 49.
What's the height?
I'm 167. I'm about 66 kilograms. My inseam's about 76, and my shoulder is about 38 centimeters.
Okay.
So I've got a 0 offset seat post from Hilux. It's not actually
From Specialized.
Yeah. So
Hilux is like what? It's a third party.
It's a third-party vendor. If you wanted to buy a Specialized one, the reason I got this one instead of a Specialized one is because you had to buy the rails on top of buying the seat post, so it's an additional cost. That because
Why?
this is a carbon saddle with
okay,
the oval rails.
You need to buy that another type of
Yeah,
clamp
yeah.
because you are using a
Yeah.
carbon rail saddle.
That's right.
Same lah. Canyon also like that lah.
Yeah. So
that-
it was double the price of this. So I thought, since it's in an old bike, and there are a few people that have used this seat post, so yeah. So I have it's the things that I've changed on it are the saddle is an SQ Lab 13 centimeter saddle. That's a carbon saddle. It's extremely good, I would say. My previous one was a Specialized Power Arc, and I find that when you're aggressive, my balls hurt.
But it's not that short nose.
No,
Type
it's not.
of saddle.
No, and I thought it would bother me, but it hasn't, because if you look at the lip, you tend to push yourself towards the back, so it doesn't really bug my thighs that much.
Okay.
And it was instantly comfortable. So in terms of saddles, within the first 5 minutes, you know if you like it or you don't. So it was from the start. It didn't give me problems. So far, it's the best saddle I've tried.
How do you determine what saddle that you should go for? It's like buying shoes, you know. Like it's so hard.
Saddles, unfortunately, is something you have to try. I have gone through like probably 4 or 5, but my bike fitter did tell me that get a flat saddle. Patrick from VO2 Max, he said because of your angle of your hips, he recommended a flat one. So I've been looking for a flat saddle because my bike fitter told me to get a flat one. So the Specialized Power Arc is actually a U. If you actually look at it properly, it's not a flat. So that's he suggested a flat one. I tried to look, and then somehow this one.
So you actually go for bike fitting?
I try to once a year, but I haven't been one since 2018 or before.
Oh, it's
COVID.
supposed to be a yearly thing?
It's a progressive thing that when there's something wrong, you do it. The thing with this bike is that I actually haven't gotten really comfortable with it. I actually haven't done a bike fit. So one of my biggest issues with this is the bike fit. I don't feel 100% comfortable for some reason. I don't know why.
Did you get that feeling back then on your track?
I tried, but this is a bit longer. This is a bit shorter at the top, so it's completely different.
I mean that okay, it's on point, that feeling. Did you get that feeling back then when you were riding?
Yeah. The track, because of its smaller sizing, it just felt right. This one doesn't. I don't know. I don't feel 100% right, even with all the modifications. But I didn't go through the specs actually. Yeah. So I have an NV handlebar that's 35 centimeters at the top, but I've narrowed the hoods a bit. It's just a bit more comfortable. I've got a Roval CLX 64 with tubeless tires, 28 front and back, and I have it at 60 psi at the back, 50 psi at the front.
So low, 60 or?
Tubeless.
Wow.
Stance race sealant, I put 60 ml. I have a Praxis Works super compact 4832 and 1134 at the back, so it's actually for climbing. The reason for that is because simply I can't pull at 42 k's an hour for like 15 minutes, so I'd rather have the gears to climb rather than something.
But this bike is everything about aero, and then the gear ratio.
Yeah.
So it's more like a spinning instead of grinding kind of thing.
Yeah. I find that I always prefer to have more climbing gears than heavy gears. But I have been contemplating changing the front one lah.
When you're on this chainring size and 11 at the back, right? And you're talking about you guys doing average at 36, 37, that cruising about like what, 38, 40,
45, 43. Yeah.
45, 43. What's your cadence when you're doing that kind of speed?
90, 95. I haven't spun out this. It's very rare that I spin out this gear.
Oh really?
I mean, I don't really touch 50 k's an hour that much. For me, it's good enough. I can't even count the number of times I've spun that out. I mean, probably going down Gotong, but at that speed, at 60, 65 k's an hour, you're already doing an aero
you don't have to pedal already lah.
It works for me, but I know most people don't like the spinning feel.
I don't know, when my cadence go until 90-ish,
some people don't like it.
I don't like it. I think my comfortable cadence is at 85, 87.
It's cadence is preference. 100% preference lah.
Because I'm using even smaller crankset than yours.
4631.
It's basically a GIX Graver crankset. I have this problem, like I cannot find the right gears. Like, this is a bit too light, that is a bit too heavy.
I find with a really super compact, I change a lot of gears.
Right? I do, and it becomes very noisy compared to last time when, last time long cage is not that common. Everything start with short cage and 1128 and all those. When you change gear, it was much more quiet.
I think you're talking about the steps. So because the 1134, the last few cogs are bigger steps, so it's a louder like thunk.
Instead of like a clunking sound.
That is true because of the larger gaps. But that's something I until today I still experience that, especially when you're towards the last five,
a few bigger one. Yes, correct. Okay,
that means you need an Altegra or DuraAce 12 speed lah. That will solve your problem.
No lah, just so expensive.
Spend.
I don't want lah.
Just spend.
I think it doesn't make sense to buy Shimano semi-wireless group set. I really think it doesn't make sense.
Not at that price
I just buy SRAM. I just buy that total wireless. Okay. Let's go back to the specs right now. I can see you have a power meter over there.
Oh yeah, I do. I have a Garmin Vector 2 from 2017.
Wow, that's very long.
It's almost 5 going on 6 years already. It still uses a 2032 batteries. So every
coin cell battery.
So I have to change it every 3 months. But it's been
every 3 months have to change already. Oh, so the newer one is like what? Newer one is like a built-in battery inside and then you charge.
Rechargeable, I think so. Garmin Ready. I have to check. I can't remember if it's a rechargeable or a battery, but I'm pretty sure it's rechargeable.
Wow, 3 months that's very frequent
Yeah, especially in the and then I've been quite happy with the pedal, surprisingly. I haven't actually serviced it since I bought it, and I have gone through one replacement set because the cord broke behind there. There's a wire behind it, but I've taped it down and that works now. And then I think the bottle cages are just some random ones because I broke one of them in a crash.
Yeah, I just want to talk about that. That pink color cannot lah, Moose.
So the bike is a bit of a mismatch kind of thing.
Actually, everything is fine. There's only that blue and that pink.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of the
cycling computer,
it's the one that you've been reviewed recently.
Yeah. I thought you were using Wahoo previously.
I did, and after 4 years it broke. The rain got through it, and then the screen couldn't show up anymore.
Okay. The rain got through it, like because of the rubber.
Yeah, the rubber seals eventually will degrade. So during the rainstorm, it stopped working after that.
Okay.
So I didn't want to spend like 1,500 on a new one. So this one was 180 ringgit.
Yeah, it's very cheap. It's really cheap. But I don't like it.
I have some major gripes because I have a power meter and I need certain data on it. It doesn't have what I need, but on Strava,
it doesn't show power?
It does, but it doesn't show the 3-second average, which I need. So it's
what's the difference 3 second and the current power?
The current power fluctuates a lot. So it can be 250, 200. That 3-second power, it averages it out. So it looks a bit more consistent because the power you produce is not consistent all the time. So it makes the number doesn't go up and down too much. So that's my biggest gripe. But in terms of uploading and everything, it's not bad. I mean, it hasn't deleted a ride for me.
I just don't like it.
I mean,
I don't know.
but it's 180 ringgit, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You can't compare it with anything.
For me, I think the great things is it is very affordable lah.
Yeah, but
like,
the new one should be
like
quite interesting.
back then, I sound like we cycled for so many years. Back then when I started buying a cycling computer was between Cat Eye, Brighton,
Oh my god.
and Garmin.
Yeah.
And then Cat Eye at that time is like almost pupus already lah, because they're still using magnet and all those, right? I'm like, okay, should I really spend 500 or 600 for Brighton, or should I just spend 200 bucks for Cat Eye?
And yeah, but now 200 bucks gets you this.
Exactly,
And then you
exactly.
compare the 200 bucks you get
Exactly.
5 years ago. It's big difference,
yeah. It's the blue color lah, like.
Okay. I'll get a black one.
No, you just get the rubber only.
The silicone.
Get the silicone
10,
casing.
15 ringgit.
I want to sell my Brighton. Do you want to buy?
What's the Brighton you have?
750.
Oh.
Used to be the flagship, but now not the flagship anymore.
800 is the new one, right?
Now 850, 850 or 1000 something. The problem with my Brighton is the touchscreen is, it's not like you use your phone like that. It's a bit lag.
Oh.
The new version is like you use your phone. So
Okay.
everything is like very smooth.
They're still charging 1,000 something for Brightons. Surprising.
Actually, I think they upgrade their product lah. I
Okay.
think lah. Back then I used 530. My first second computer was a 530. One of the guy, Edward,
Safu.
Edward, he helped me to buy from some bicycle shop
Oh my
for
God.
a cheaper rate, 990 ringgit. I remember.
Oh, that was
1,000 bucks and
mid-ish.
get 10 bucks back. So 530 actually lasts me for very long, and I kind of like it because the screen is biggest for Brighton at the time, and then I can put in a lot of data field. It does come with a navigation, but breadcrumb, very useful for my Audax. My Audax, just based on that breadcrumb, I finished the thing. I don't even keep my cue sheet.
Oh.
My cue
so
sheet
it was good enough.
halfway gone already. Like
Wet.
I didn't laminate it and all those. Then follow that breadcrumb.
It was good
can.
enough to navigate you from start to finish. You know where you were going with the Brighton.
Yeah.
Oh.
It will tell you, okay, like
Turn right.
300 km, 300 meter turn right. Then you will know, because for that case, I think breadcrumb, if you're doing Audax or if you're doing planned event, it is okay, because most of the road are a bit more quiet. So
Outskirts
when they
and
say
everything.
turn right on 300 meter in front, you only got one junction lah, you won't miss lah. But on city cannot lah.
Yeah.
City really like you don't know
left or right. That's like the
even with
density
the
as well.
even with the map also, sometimes city you are like
Correct.
all right. But that was quite good, and until that battery cannot already, the battery kembang already, then no choice, so have to change.
Yeah.
And then I changed during MCO. Okay lah, the price for second computer didn't went up lah. So still okay. And then everything got already. You got heart rate monitor, you got a cadence sensor. So you buy the
Just
computer,
added the
it's
head unit,
cheaper.
yeah.
But not too bad lah. This one, okay
Yeah.
lah. It's just I don't like it.
No, the 2406 Pro would be better lah. I should be able to get it.
I'm hoping they come up with something
Big
bigger screen, like really flagship.
to compete with the big boys.
I'm hoping that actually, I think out of McGinn product, most of the product got the range.
Okay.
That the power meter got or not? Their trainer, their whatever things.
Power meter, there's a few versions. Yeah.
Like there's a range. Like you have. Talk about the trainer. They have T100, T200, T300. You know, the T300 is like equivalent to Tax or to whatever Wahoo higher
Core,
end,
yeah.
and then T100 is the lower end. I hope they have something serving the serious one lah, not for the startup one lah.
You got something on your teeth?
What? Still got?
Don't have.
So I hope they come up with something with that lah. Right. Okay, come back to your bike. Okay. Your roto, that is a Dura-Ace roto.
Same as yours, right?
Yeah. Does
Purely for aesthetic, zero performance gains.
it? Yeah. Does it squeak? Mine squeaked like mad though.
Mine has been okay so far, surprisingly. It hasn't squeaked so far. I think it's what you clean it with as well, and you need to be
I
careful.
don't know. Mine is like a try. Okay, I haven't really buy a disc brake cleaner. I think that's kind of
No, you don't need it. I have never used it, but
Right.
it's sometimes your brake pads are contaminated or something. It can be a lot of reasons.
so now maintenance, right? Coming from rim brake bike, both of us coming from rim brake bike. When you go to disc brake, what's the struggle about your maintenance?
The most expensive, apart from the wheels, right, is the shifter. I had mine because I crashed. It broke. So to get a new shifter is about, and you can't buy just the shifter. You have to buy the shifter and the brakes. That's about 2,800 ringgit.
Man, that was a full group set back then.
Yep. So be careful with the shifters. I find it a lot more problematic than a rim brake. I thought it would be less maintenance,
I know,
but
right?
it's actually
A lot more.
I was surprised from recentering the brakes to getting things. The hydraulic lines are a pain. You can't just adjust it yourself. You have to bring it to the shop.
Yep.
That's like a 200 ringgit expense every year to get it to bleed it and stuff.
You have to bleed it every year. Is it?
It's recommended lah to
Okay.
get
Because
a
my
good
brake
feel.
already a bit spongy,
Yeah.
so supposed to go and bleed already lah.
Yeah.
I don't really ride that bike that much also.
Right. Yeah. You can buy your own tools and stuff, but it will take time for you to learn it lah. But it's a bit more. I would say 80% more of a hassle than a rim brake lah.
Yeah, I think even that also. I think I'm quite handy, but I don't want to touch the
Nope.
hydraulic, the oil, the blah blah blah.
The amount of tools you have to buy will cost you thousands of ringgit
Wow.
easily to get the cable cutter, the mineral oil, the.
Okay. Right. What's your stem length?
I have a 110mm stem. This is a cheap stem from Shopee, which was like 90 ringgit or something.
Oh, cheap,
Yeah.
Is it the Uno?
Yeah,
Uno, right?
yeah.
This is like one of the lightest and cheapest stem you can get.
For
in the market.
stems, I would recommend getting something cheap, but be careful when you go for races. You need to torque it up to. I torqued mine up to 7 or 8 Newton meters, so you need to
Why,
be careful with that. If not, the handlebar will slip. So I've had a race where my handlebar slipped and I didn't finish the race.
Oh, wow,
So-
that's very scary.
Yeah. So be careful. Don't do it before an event.
It
lah.
is because that your bar is a carbon bar and then the stem is aluminum.
think-
It is because of that?
Because of the surface area at the front. It's not a full. There's a bit of a hole at the front.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't have that much coverage to hold the stem.
Okay.
Even with carbon paste, it doesn't hold it. So I had to torque it up.
But the recommended torque
It's
is
only 5.
Oh, okay.
I bring it up to 7, but if I'm pretty sure you can safely do it up to 8 if you need to lah, to be extra safe.
Wow, but that is a expensive carbon handlebar though.
Yeah, the carbon bar is actually an MV. It's actually my second set. So MV has this policy that if you crash and you break it, you get a free one. But what they don't tell you is that you have to pay for the shipping.
Okay.
So I had to pay about 350 ringgit for.
Okay lah,
and the-
not too bad lah. 350.
But for you to assemble a hydraulic,
You have to go to a shop and
you have to pay another 200 ringgit. So you end up paying 600 bucks. So second set, it's free, but you gotta pay for shipping.
Okay,
like that.
I guess still okay lah. How much is a handlebar?
You mean a brand? What?
A brand new MV handlebar?
1,007.
Okay ma, still okay lah.
Still okay lah.
Still okay lah. Not too
But
bad lah.
I'm not a big fan of integrated handlebars lah. If I want to change something.
Oh yeah, well, not
It's-
integrated, right?
Yeah. This one is, but I would prefer not. I would prefer if the cables came outside of the handlebar. That way you can change.
Like the new Ali Sprinter, right? It is like under the stem and then go into the head tube.
No, the handlebar itself. Like all the. So if you look at the hose, it goes into the handlebar, right?
Oh, okay.
I would have preferred if it didn't go into the handlebar.
Oh, okay.
Then if
like
something's wrong-
there's a groove down there, so
That's
you can
it.
rub.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Right.
Yeah.
I think for maintenance, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
My handlebar is a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Because yours is a multi-tiered gravel bike.
It's a pain in the ass. Basically, everything you want to buy in the market, you can't get, you don't have to think about anything lah. Handlebar bag cannot fit. Whatever
They sell a handlebar bag, right? For the, you should check on the website.
for Canyon, right?
They have a new one.
Yeah,
right?
they have a handlebar bag, but once you use the handlebar bag, you can't use the ultra mount. You can't use the ultra mount. You have to use the mount for your cycling
Stem.
computer on the stem. Basically, you can't put anything in front of your handlebar. And for my case is, I ride a XS, and it does come with a 650B wheel, and then I swap it to 700C wheel, and the clearance actually not enough. Most of the bag cannot. If the bag can fit within that clearance, it will be too small. So basically everything on the market. So my case is, because it's a gravel bike, right? So I need all those bags, blah blah blah. Basically everything in the market is cannot lah. Or maybe it can, but it look ugly lah.
Right. Because you'll be touching the wheel, it'll be so low lah.
Like it just tak boleh lah. So integrated bar, if I like last time my bike is like so easy, I do my maintenance everything by myself, right? Like now it's like sometimes you know Canyon, somewhere at the headset there's a very small torque screw that you need to tighten, where a lot of people strip that.
Okay.
And when I assembled that things, it was like damn scary. I don't know if I strip it, how I gonna surface it, or how I
you
gonna
have to buy a new fork. No, the new headset.
You don't need to buy a new fork, but you need to buy a new headset, and you have to find a way to remove that
the current
the screw. So those kind of thing,
it's a lot of hassle.
although it looks cool, I have to admit it looks really cool.
Yeah. But when it comes to maintenance, you die lah.
Your wheel. Okay, what is the depth of your wheel?
They are 64 centimeters front and back, or 64 millimeters, I think.
This is the older generation of Rovo
Yeah.
CRX.
So they have an internal width of 21 inside and 29 outside. So they're quite consistent front and back, and then they've got ceramic speed bearings and DT Swiss internals lah.
DT Swiss hub, is it? No.
They don't call it the hub. They just have it, the inside, the mechanisms are all DT
okay.
Swiss.
It is like equivalent to 240, 180.
240, I would
240,
say.
yeah.
I don't think it's 180 lah. Yeah.
What else to talk about your bike?
I think about how it feels lah.
How it feels, like okay, I think I have to plot the question like this. You've been through this bike, right? You've been through track, Cannondale Cat 10,
Yeah.
a carbon bike, and then come back to this. So what is the main difference? What's the difference?
I think this is probably the stiffest bike that I have.
Even compared to your track?
Yes, even compared to my track, I feel that this is a stiffer bike, but it's a less comfortable bike.
Okay.
I think the track was made for climbing. There's a certain like lightness and airiness when you climb, and then especially when you accelerate on climbs. I feel that track was made for racing on the hills. For this specialized sprint, I think that you have, number one is it's a bike that you want to go fast all the time. When you're going slow and when you're tired and everything, it's a bit harsh lah. Even with my 31mm tires at the back, it's a bit bumpy.
So you actually need the excitement to cover up that bumpy feel.
Yeah.
To wash off your brain. Put focus on that excitement.
It's a bike where it's made for you to go hard all the time. It's a racing bike lah. And I think for races, I think it's brilliant. It's also very cost effective.
But the new one is not cheap, bro.
No. But I did ask.
I guess it's still relatively cheap lah. Where carbon bike now are even higher.
I think it's the way you look at it is, if you're looking for an alloy bike, no, it's not cheap. But if you're looking for an SL7, that's cheap. You don't have to get an SL7. You can get something that feels like an SL7 at a cheaper price. But it's not the same target market anymore. You wouldn't really want to race on such an expensive bike lah. I would, rather than buying that, I would suggest to get this version instead. Try and see if you can find a second-hand one. But it's a bike made to go fast, and it will do most things. But it's probably the least endurance bike focus, I would say. I would have preferred a bit more comfort out of this.
What's the longest ride you ride on this bike?
160 probably.
That's quite long also lah.
Quite long lah. Quite long lah.
That's a century lah. 200 never try this one.
No, 200 never tried.
Last time Audex you were on your
Emonda.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a great bike, man. It was really a good bike.
Talk about that incident. How did you crash that bike and what happened?
It was actually not even a race. It was a practice crit in Sepang. It was the second lap, and we were behind this Selangor junior team, and because they were going so hard, they were not looking at the front, and by that time the barriers were closing down. So he went straight into the barriers, and I was number 4 behind. So there were probably about 8 to 12 of us that fell. I could be wrong, but my bike was the only one that broke because somebody fell on it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But there's no any policy crash replacement policy from track.
I think it's an unsaid thing about racing that you go in, you sort yourself out lah. I mean, you could probably tell the person off and everything, but you're in a race, right? You gotta pay to play. So
wow.
I did feel like I was gonna whack this kid, but it was just a junior kid and everything.
It's not his fault, right?
It is his fault, but whatever.
It is his fault.
It is his fault, but I mean,
what to do?
What to do? Yeah.
So, do you still climb with this bike? Do you still go hilly terrain? Because back then it was kind of like a climber. The perspective of me to you was a climber. So what do you categorize yourself? A climber? Are you a sprinter? Are you
I'm
best of both worlds?
No. I don't climb very well actually. I find that my climbing is quite poor. I think I'm very good at sustain. I'm better on the flats actually, surprisingly, because I find it mentally draining to climb fast. But your question was, how did the track climb?
Yeah, how did this bike climb?
I think with this bike, when you climb, it feels you need to maintain a certain speed. But whenever you surge, I feel that this bike fights you a bit. So whenever you accelerate, there's a bit of it doesn't, surprisingly, it doesn't accelerate that well when it's a sharp like 600 watt effort. So that is the thing that I find slightly odd. It's like it's a bit of a fighting, but if you're maintaining your speed up a climb, it's quite okay. When it's very steep, it feels a bit heavy. It's not as light as other bikes. I think one of the best bikes I've tried is the Cervelo R5.
Okay,
that's a good.
That weird handlebar bike, is it that one? That is the S5.
That's
right?
the S5.
Okay.
But the climbing R5, carbon bikes, the climbing carbon bikes have a certain lightness that it just climbs really well.
Right?
It just goes.
Go.
This one doesn't feel nowhere near like that one. So this probably isn't the best climbing bike, I would say, but it's made for high speed rolling hills where you can maintain that effort, but you've got to go hard lah, so that you don't think about everything else. As you said.
What's your next upgrade will be like?
I think when the price is right, I would like to go wireless.
Oh, okay.
But I would not pay more than 5,000 ringgit for an upgrade.
Do you care for the weight? Do you care about the bike weight?
No. If I had an option, I would actually put a suspension stem at the front. I prioritize comfort more than weight. Yeah, so weight is the least of my concern lah. So that's why I have quite heavy components on it.
That is a 105 derailleur, right?
Yep, 105.
The front also 105.
Yes,
but your shifter is Ultegra.
because I crashed it and it
you
broke.
have to change it. Yeah.
And it was only 200 ringgit difference between 105 and Ultegra, so I
How
took,
come? Why?
because of the supply. Back then it was the peak of COVID,
Oh,
so
okay.
you didn't have a choice.
So which means 105 got a even higher price
Yeah.
surge compared to Ultegra.
It was there was only like 2-3 group sets in the market for entire Malaysia, so you had to take what you have.
Yeah. Correct. Basically
that's-
everywhere. My Ultegra crank was have a aesthetic damage by that degreaser, and people still buy.
Yeah.
Like you know that degreaser costs like all those. I don't know how to explain.
Decoloration.
Decoloration.
Yeah.
It looks like camouflage. People still buy, and then they're like, "Oh, it's 165. I want it." Because, oh yeah, what's your crank arm?
Oh, I have a 160mm crank arm.
Very short though.
I'm pretty sure this is the only 160mm Praxis work crank arm. This was specially ordered by Ben from Specialized Bangsa.
Okay,
I wanted
okay.
a 160 because I like being in an aggressive position. So something to do with hip angles and stuff. It makes it easier to go lower. Yeah, that's it. I think.
Why it's not chop that
Because I do plan to sell it at one. I believe that no bike is going to last forever for me. So I
Okay,
always
okay.
have whenever I buy, I always stick to the 4 brands: Trek, Cannondale, BMC, Specialized. I think if you buy any of these brands, the resale value is pretty good.
okay.
Yeah, that's why I don't chop it off, because
Track, Track, Specialized, BMC,
Cannondale.
Cannondale. Okay.
I think Specialized and Trek is probably the top 2 lah. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, Specialized for sure lah. Like
Yeah.
they are even bigger now compared to back then, right?
Yeah. The only problem with Specialized is the pricing is it's a bit hard to.
They know they are there lah.
Yeah, pretty much,
They know they are
yeah.
there. They know their stuff. Right. Okay. I think I don't have much question already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
That's all for this podcast. This podcast will be available on Apple Music, on Spotify, and of course on YouTube. So if you like video like this, do subscribe to the channel and also hit the little bell icon so that you get notification whenever I upload a new video. So
Thanks for having me, and thanks for
coming. Thanks for coming.
Oh, it's a pleasure, man.
All right.
Take care.
All right. Bye.